Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of our Leverage podcast. We're on about episode 55. So I'm looking forward to bringing in Chris Kille, and we've known him for a little while. Even our circles have crossed paths. I think even back in the maybe 3-4 years ago, 5 years ago, when we were in some conferences and some masterminds, and we were just talking about that before the podcast started. So, Chris, tell us a little bit about who you are and how you make money.
Oh, thanks, man. Hey, great to have you on, or thanks for having me on. Yeah, Chris Kille, I'm Boston based. I'm actually up in Maine right now, so the whole New England area. And I work with franchise organizations and small business owners that are looking to scale and help them delegate to whether it's remote staff, people in-house. So we do screening services and virtual assistants, whether they're just placement or managed service.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. Perfect. What do you guys focus on kind of growing right now?
The screening model, actually. So something that kind of happened by accident with us. We had a churn problem about a year ago where we were bringing on clients and losing them pretty quickly, typically faster than usual. And we actually took a step back and we're like, hey, where's this coming from? Where's the leak? And with most businesses, they spend the most amount of time on the first 2 or 3 phases of the screening process, and that's the most important as well. And so that's where we were leaking as well. We were wrong candidates were getting through. They shouldn't have even been talking right to them. And so we went back and really dialed in the methods that we use to screen and qualify candidates. And so that's where we're focused on right now, is bringing that out and educating people on how to do it themselves.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. And I assume that would apply for anybody that you hire, right? I mean, whether that's remote, that's a human-based criteria.
Yeah. And what's pretty cool about it is, from a franchise perspective, like a lot of people in the home services industry, they will, they go through field techs like crazy, right? Because they're, it's a hard position to interview for. And we actually kind of figured out the formula to where it's not about finding good candidates, it's about disqualifying bad ones. And we figured it out.
Yeah, I think I saw like a lot of times especially business owners, right? And a lot of times it's sales because they got to go out and sell and generate revenue, but they don't hone the skills, right? Maybe it's leadership skills they don't hone. A lot of times it's obviously people management skills. And underneath that bucket of people management is knowing how to hire, right? How to build job descriptions, how to build training guides, how to select the right candidates, right? So talk to us a little bit about how you guys handle that and address that, or is that a training you provide folks? Is that what you kind of go through and vet the candidates through with your knowledge and experience? What does that look like?
Yeah, so actually you really hit a good point where it starts at the job post, right? A lot of times when you talk to a business owner, when you talk to whoever the hiring manager is, they think that they want one type of person. In reality, after you talk to them, it's a completely different role. And so part of our process is to actually dial that in and really dive deep into their needs. And curate the job post with them, help them post it, help them screen, and then help them onboard as well, right? Like a 30, 60, 90-day onboarding program, for any employee. A lot of people leave that out nowadays, and that's pretty valuable.
Yeah, I tell people all the time. I mean, I came from 19 years at a Fortune 500 company working in the corporate HR kind of segment. And so I really kind of understood the impact. And specifically, I was in the training arena of training these large corporate, like not really building. We had education course engineers to build the content, but my job was to make the hiring and do all of those things. Long story short, like that's where people miss the bucket is defining the role, like you said, exactly what you need, and then selecting those candidates, and then obviously training, right? Having standard operating procedures, training them. And I think that's where I think it's unfair sometimes to people that we hire, because we just expect them to come in and kind of just be like, I'm too busy, figure it out. Like how does that work in your world? If Chris hired me and that's the way he treated me, I'd be like, bro, we're not a good fit because I don't have a clue what you want me to do or expect me to do, or how am I winning, right? I always try to tell people, they need to understand how to win, right? If you can't even articulate how to win with Chris or with Mike, then what are we doing here?
Exactly. What are we doing?
What's the biggest thing you're focused on growing right now? Actually, we just talked about that. Sorry. What is the thing that you do most that people in your industry are not doing? Is it the screening process? What does that look like?
Yeah, it's the screening process. A lot of times, and you guys see this too. You guys are in VAs. You see these other companies out there, and they're just, going on, onlinejobs.ph or whatever, and just throwing candidates at people, and it's, again, that's where churn comes from. And I don't say that's not what we were doing before, but it was, we weren't doing our homework to the way that we should have been doing. And that's where the gap came from. So.
Yeah, I think you hit the nail on the head earlier, where you're more focused on disqualifying people, right, than finding the perfect candidate, because the perfect candidate's hard to find, and even defining the perfect candidate is honestly hard to find, because people show up differently on their resume, they show up differently on the interviews, and so it is a little bit of gut feel, so if we're putting qualified, I guess maybe it's the right word, right? Qualified candidates in front of people is the best policy. Looking back, what was kind of slowing you down? And that may have been the answer, right? Was the screening process. But is there anything else in that model that you've been running that's caused you lag or slow down?
Not really. It's like we felt like we were on a treadmill, right? Like I went, like I'm open about this. 2024 and into 2025, when our revenue went up, not as much as we wanted it to, but when we went back and looked at our client base, we finished one client less at the end of 2025 than we started with. And the revenue went up because we found, different ways to monetize things. But it was like, I went back and I looked at the numbers and I'm like, bro, I just worked all fucking year for nothing. Like, what was the point of me? What was the point of me doing that? So that's kind of what started the whole, all right, we got to dial this in. And now it's, we very rarely lose a customer now because we get it right.
That's good. Yeah. That old tricky net number, right? It's like, we're always looking at what is gross and net. I would come from a real estate background too. So
I thought we were killing it, right? I'm like, look at all these people on the board, like look at brand new clients and stuff. And then I'm like, where are these people at? And they're like, oh yeah, they quit. Oh, okay. All right. So cool.
Makes sense. Why? I guess I used to do that in real estate, and people get up on stage and they've been the big gaudy numbers, right? Like my gross commission income was $4 million. But when you pull their books back, it was like in different scenario, but it's like the attrition was how much money they were spending to generate that business, right? And at the end of the day, the net wasn't nearly as sexy as the gross of $4 million. If you lost everything tomorrow, what would the first thing that you'd do? How would you start over again? Well, just one point of emphasis. Like, how would you just put one step out there, and what would that one step be?
Yeah, I'd find another service that somebody else is doing really well and sell it for them.
Cool. I mean, we see a lot of business owners that succeed. We see a lot of business owners that close the doors. And so I always try to use this example of like, you just can't quit, right? Especially when you're an entrepreneur. Even if you quit, I call it more of a pivot, right? Find another opportunity. Don't just hang the total bag up. What's a metric or number that you guys pay the closest attention to right now? Is that churn or what is it? Sure. I figured you might say that. What is your like acquisition of clients look like? Like, what, if you're open to talking about that, like are you guys using socials? You using referrals? What does that look like for you guys?
Yeah. So a lot of social media, leads come from there. And although we don't really sell hard on social media, right? It's just, it's kind of casual selling. We also are talking about client wins and stuff. And a lot of times, my referral relationships, right? We were talking about, this before the call. It's, it's not, it's what in a lot of situations, it's who you know. And in a lot of instances, industries are pay to play. So, I'm always open to new opportunities of people that have networks that will allow me to be a chosen, or a trusted vendor. Obviously, you gotta do what you say you're going to do. You can't just come in and just be, be a schlub at it. But, that's my client acquisition strategy is we partner with other people.
Yeah, I love that. And I've joined quite a few different networks throughout my time. I feel like people call me a lot, mostly because of my age and just my overall experience as a connector, right? And that's where I'm able to leverage a lot of power, right? Is get in those rooms and meet which is partially why we're doing the podcast as well, right? Is you don't know what businesses and what owners are out there until you go out and meet with them, right? And this is a very leveraged way to do that, right? For me personally, is the podcast. While I'm not spending hours or nights or days or socializing greatly with the business owner, this is a first step right into meeting other business owners that you never know what could turn into a fruitful opportunity or relationship down the road just by a quick 20-minute conversation, right? What trends are you guys paying attention to right now?
Oh, that's a good question. I try to not really pay attention to anybody else in the industry right now, because I don't want to. I don't like. I don't want to steal, I guess you'd say, like in terms of, it's a lot of times when you pay attention to different trends, you kind of have shiny object syndrome. And so right now, I'm purposefully trying to keeping laser focused on the screening aspect, just so we can get that out, get it built. And then, because ultimately we're going to take it straight to consumer. Right now we offer it as a service, but we'll be offering it as a self-serve retail option for other business owners soon.
Got it. How do you process internally, like a new venture or a new product or a new offer? Do you do some beta testing first before you roll it out? I'm just generally curious, like, what does that look like before you take it to your clients?
Yeah. Like you were saying, right? Like I've been around the block. I know a lot of people. I've been, entrepreneur for 23 years. And anytime I have an idea, right? First of all, I kind of have like my own council, essentially, right? Just a bunch of ADHD dudes sitting around bouncing ideas off each other. 99% of them are so stupid, but it's like, hey, somebody's, you got to get it off your chest. And when we find a winner, a lot of times, like I'll build it out to about 70, 80% till it's almost ready there. And then I'll start calling people that it would be applicable to. Like right now I have 15 people on a pilot, with the new actually self-serve on it. And they're friends of mine. Right. They're all running them. Everything's going good and they're not paying. And so, but, obviously if they're going to do it for free, I get a lot of data and feedback back from them.
Yeah, no, that's a great point. What is leverage advice you'd give someone that's trying to get to that next level?
Yeah. Get that early shit off your plate, right? Like too many business owners in the beginning or agents or, whatever it is, people that are trying to grow. And I fell into this trap myself in my first company where you get to a certain income level and you're like, all right, cool. I'm comfortable now, finally. But you're still doing everything yourself. And so even if you find somebody to just manage your inbox or your calendar, just get some of that stuff off of your plate, right? Whether you hire locally, whether you hire domestic, overseas, there's some AI stuff out there right now that, I don't love that, but you got to find a way to get the little stuff off of your calendar. So that way you can focus on going out there and actually making money.
Yeah, I think that for those that have heard me on this podcast before, I referenced the Dan Martell Buy Back Your Time book a lot, right? Because he's got that in there. It's like, what's your energy zone? Where are you spending your time? How are you replacing your task? Who are you replacing it with, right? And there's the buyback loop, and there's just so many different models in there that I think people should, as business owners, I really feel like that is one of the most fundamental books in how to scale and leverage, right, through people and resources. All right. I'm going to go into our lightning round real quick. So these are quick, really fast, one bullet answers. Favorite business book?
You just said it. Buy Back Your Time. Dan is I spent some time with him one-on-one, a couple times one-on-one. And he was actually, I read that book and I called my team and I said, hey, we're changing the way we onboard customers, like right now. And so, my favorite part about that book, not only does it have it's got a lot of gems in it, but most business books that you read are conceptual, right? They show you this idea and then they're like, all right, you go back and you figure out how you're going to apply this. And I don't want to connect the dots, right? I want to read, teach, and then I'll go take action. And in my opinion, this could be one of the best business books ever written because of how easy to digest it is, how powerful what it is. And it actually tells you how to do it step by step. You don't even have to think. You just read the book and do it.
Yeah, I always like business books for dummies, and that's kind of what I call it, like cliche, but right. It's like if we get too conceptual and it's too much theory, we have a brain struggle to wrap around the enormity of that process, right? And this is just such simple. It's graphs, it's practicality. It's like he talks about in the replacement ladder, right? It's like everybody wants to go replace sales first because they're tired of doing sales as the owner, and he's like, yeah, cool story, bro. That should be the last thing that you replace.
Very last thing you should do. An honorable mention on that, Built to Sell. It's a great book too.
Yeah, that's a good one too. Favorite AI tool you're using right now?
Claude Code all day long. Yeah.
If I were to open your phone and see what app has used the most time on your time hack, what app would that be on your phone?
Ooh, Instagram.
What's your most impactful habit?
I sleep a lot.
I wish I could do that more. That's a good
Yeah.
one. What's your biggest business mistake?
Oh my gosh, hiring the wrong people over and over and over again. I had a credit card processing company for 19 years, and that was kind of story of my life, man. It was just, you know, I was watching the same movie on repeat.
That's expensive lesson too. Every
so
time.
Expensive, yeah.
A belief that you have that most entrepreneurs disagree with.
You don't have to grind. You don't have to hustle, right? It's like rest is just as important in being deliberate and impactful with your time and your actions. You don't need to always be out there doing shit.
Yeah, 100%. And a lot of it's just busy, right? It's like cut out the noise, cut out the
busy
and
work.
You don't have. Yeah,
like Layla Hormozi says, like you can cut stuff, and a lot of times people don't even realize you cut it out. It's like makes no impact whatsoever. So why do it in the first place?
A lot of it's just because you have an emotional or sentimental or psychological tie to it because it was your baby. It's like that baby is old now. You don't need it anymore. What's the one thing you'd never delegate?
I don't delegate my travel. Yeah. I had an assistant one time who put me in a shitty hotel in a bad seat on a plane. And I said, I'm never doing this again. All my own travel,
right. Last question I got is, if I had to open up Chris Kille's encyclopedia or dictionary that he created the definitions for, how would you define leverage in your dictionary?
Yeah, leverage is being able to do what you want to do when you want to do it, you know, within reason, and knowing that your life's not going to fall apart, right? You got to have both or it doesn't work.
It's funny you say that because I use that a lot on like, how do I define success, right? Success is kind of, to me, it's not always about the money. Certainly that's an important part of it, but it's about being, if you're making all the money, but you have no life, then the money doesn't mean anything, right? So how do you find that freedom? And you find that freedom and money through others, right? And then the other one I always say is we can sometimes go faster alone and further together, right? And so it's like, it's the yeah, you're good. I want to build a legacy, and we just we want to go from there. So we're all good. We're actually at the last question anyway, so that'll be perfect. So thank you for your time, Chris. If anybody wanted to get a hold of you, connect with you, pick your brain on any of this, how would they get a hold of you, man?
Yeah, hit me up on Instagram. It's I am Chris Kille. That's the easiest way to message me. I don't have a VA in there or anything like that. It's always me. So
cool. All right. Love it. And as my guests know, you can always reach out to me. I have all of these connections in a Rolodex. We stay in touch, and I'm always happy to connect you with them. So could be a week from now, could be a year from now. I always have people reach out at random times. Once on the internet, always on the internet. So, Chris, thank you for your time, man. Any parting words you want to say?
Just get out there, keep it going. No small goals, or no small goals.
Yeah, love it, Chris. Thanks so much to our guests, to our audience watching. Appreciate you coming in for another episode. Reach out to Chris if you want to connect with them. Put us some comments down on our channel, and we'll follow up with you. Thanks, Chris.
Yep.